Welcome back to Virginia This Morning. Sweet potatoes and quinoa, they are superfoods that are good for you. And today, Bachelor Kitchen Chef and good friend Chris Hill combines the two to create a healthy burger and pairs it with a cocktail. Perfect for fall. Great to see you, Chris. As always, nice to see you, buddy.
Pleasure, yeah.
Okay, quinoa. We've been hearing a lot about this superfood now. What is it, and why is it gaining so much popularity?
Well, it only took 5,000 years to gain popularity. I mean, it's been around since the Incas, way back in the day. But it's great. It's comparable to rice when you cook it 2-to-1 ratio like rice, but so much protein, omega-3s, fatty acids, all that good stuff.
Unlike rice, a lot of people turn away from rice.
Yeah, and dietary fiber is great. Yeah, exactly. So what we're gonna do is we already cooked that off. Everything here is already been cooked, so don't try and throw this dish together in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Do it maybe the night before or before you head to work. Let it chill, and then combine everything, and then we're gonna form these patties and sear them off here in the pan.
Love it.
And the best way I think to have a good aroma in the house during the holiday season is have some sort of potpourri, and what better way to add some bourbon to it, right?
I mean, that's always on the menu, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's talk about the quinoa burger. How many will this make right here?
This here, I got a package of a pound, which is about standard for what you'll get at the grocery store. And I did 1 sweet potato, so it's really 1-to-1.
Okay.
And you want to switch real quick?
Yeah, let's
and I'll chop these real quick.
Jump in.
And
sweet potatoes, fairly healthy as well.
They're very healthy, yeah, exactly. And what I think is great is this has a great balance and flavor. It has a nice savoriness. I use chicken broth to cook the quinoa. And then you also have the sweetness in the sweet potato. And
is it like rice in terms of like you'd need like 35, 45 minutes to cook it?
You need about, so you really, 2-to-1 ratio, and then add the quinoa and water, bring it up to a boil. And then like with rice, when it starts to boil, lower the temperature to medium low, cover, and then
let it
do
sit
its
for
thing.
a while. Okay.
Make sure, with a spatula or something, make sure that it's not sticking to the bottom. But aside
Other
from
than that, fairly simple.
And you can look, you pull the lid off, and you'll see that it's like this. You do want to make sure, though, before cooking the quinoa, that you rinse it off.
Okay.
And then after that, do it a couple times, and then drain the water, and here we are. This is actually really cool.
Any spices to it as it's cooking, simmering?
Well, I added actually a little bit of orange zest, a little bit of orange juice, so it's gonna have those flavors to it. And then in a different pan, I had some peppers and onions, some thyme, a little bit of garlic, and what we're gonna do is add all these components together with a little bit of honey.
With some honey, okay. This is so. I would imagine that sort of is the glue that keeps it all together.
It's the glue, and we also have a little bit of mustard to do the same thing. But the honey, I think, ties in the two sweet flavors really well together.
Is that sort of a spicy mustard?
A spicy mustard, grape poupon would be great. We have these veggies. We'll throw these in here.
Look at this, stabilizer. That's really
exactly.
Cool.
And then what I do is I mix it in here, and then this pulls right off, and there you go.
Awesome. Okay, let's do this.
So. And then we'll add our quinoa here. And we'll just pretend like we're mixing this up, and then I'll actually throw this one I've already made over here in the pan. Now, you obviously, like I said before, you want to make it so it's nice and chilled. That way it stays together nicely.
You want to keep it chilled. And does it have to sort of marinate overnight or let it sit for a while?
The flavors will only get better with a little bit of time.
Okay.
The best way, I think, to make sure that it keeps this patty like this is doing is wrap up in a little bit of plastic wrap.
Perfect.
And keep in the fridge, and let's turn that up maybe just a little bit. Well, a little bit melodramatic, but you also want a little bit of nice crispiness to it. 3 minutes aside, and it's done.
Now, if you're cooking multiple of these burgers, and do you cook them all at the same time, or how would you?
You want to make sure your pan is not too crowded, especially because they're very delicate.
Okay.
It's not like it's ground beef where all the fat's gonna hold on to each other. It's still a grain, so it's not going to have the fatty stuff that's going to tie together, but what it is going to do is going to get nice and crispy on the outside.
I would imagine this is sort of new territory for a lot of people. So
it really is. People say, well, what's like the Bud Light commercial? The guys being made fun of the tailgating commercial, the tailgating thing.
He called it a loofah.
And he's all pissed off at his wife, So maybe there's a reason why you give it a shot.
And they won, okay.
So then over here we have the apple cider. We have a little bit of apple and orange. If you want to throw some of that brown sugar.
Sure. How much?
About half of that.
Half?
Yep.
Okay.
So I have about 2 quarts or so of apple cider. And then that's about a quarter cup of brown sugar.
Okay.
We have some ground clove, ground ginger.
These right here.
We'll save one of these cinnamon things for garnish.
Okay.
And then we'll break it right in half. We'll just simmer, bring it up to a boil, and then kind of almost like the quinoa, we'll lower it, let it just chill out. All the flavors will marry. It'll be really, really delicious.
This smells just like fall here, Chris.
It does. And back home over the holidays, I always throw in a pan some oranges, some apples, a little bit of cinnamon, some brown sugar. Just
Can't
let it
go
hang
wrong with
out
that.
like low.
And you said you were adding some an adult beverage to that as well.
That's right.
Where, does that bourbon come in while it's simmering or afterwards?
At the very end.
Okay.
That way, for those that appreciate the cocktail content, and it doesn't go away.
Okay.
So
We got some apples right here.
Yep. So let's put a little bit more apples in here,
You're not kidding. All right.
and then we'll just be careful because obviously it's really hot. You don't want to make it too high. And then we'll get one of these oranges, and then
Voila.
finish it off with the cinnamon stick.
Okay, we got 30 seconds left right here, Chris.
All right. So I wish it was getting a little bit crispier, but obviously it's not.
It's
So
the
we're
magic
just-
of television.
Yep.
We'll make it work.
That's right. So we'll just mix this up really nicely together. Again, chill it off nicely.
Chill it down. And what kind of bread would you like to use with those?
For burgers, my dad instilled in me English muffins. They're
English
great.
muffins?
They're great. They have a nice airiness to them.
Oh, they look like they've been grilled too.
They have. I just put them in a pan for a couple minutes, got nice and crispy, and then it's perfect. You grab some of the juices, and I finished off with a little bit of the peppers and onions.
Off and
most
running.
of the time.
Hey, Chris,
So,
always great to see
thank
you,
you.
man.
Thanks
Thank you
for
so
having me.
much for the recipe.